The push for increased government openness and citizens' engagement in the budget process represents a transformative shift in how public resources are managed. This shift reflects a growing recognition that effective governance is not solely the responsibility of elected officials, but also a collaborative effort that requires the active participation of the populace. Experts say by fostering transparency and encouraging participation, government can create a more inclusive budgeting process that ultimately benefits society as a whole. Well, let's get talking. I will focus on Lagos State. I have the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget. He is live in the studio, Mr. Okpe George. Good afternoon and thank you so much. It's good to have you here.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I think we need to start this discussion with understanding what Lagos really intends to achieve with increased governance, openness, and citizens' engagement in your budgeting process.
Okay, thank you. So, we're very, very keen to ensure that in our budgeting process, we carry along the citizens. Every year when we're starting to conceive our budget, we have what we call a consultative forums where we go around the 5 divisions of Ibile. We speak to all our citizens. We have sessions where they come in. We talk to them, find out what they want to see in the budget for the new year. It also gives us a chance to report back on the last budget, how we've performed, and issues they raised at the last forums. We can then go back and give them feedback. So it's a process that's been ongoing for a couple of years now, and it gives us a chance to be able to sort of report back and take in new comments to put into the new budget come the new year.
That sounds good. Okay, so the consultative forum is what government does yearly, year in, year out.
Correct.
To make sure that happens. Yes. Now, how can you judge the process? What has it achieved so far since you've instituted this?
Well, it's been for us, it's been very, very informative. It's been very good. So you see a lot of the projects we've carried out, most of them come out as a result of what we've gotten back from the consultative forums that have been held over the last couple of years. So it cuts across all the various spheres of the economy. You know, we can look at transportation where now we have close to 10,000 people using the Blue Line. We have close to 4 million Lagosians have the car card. They go and tap on the various integrated modes of transport, the ferries, the buses, and the rail. You know, we have the fact that we've head back to ensure that this year in our budget for 2024, we're very heavy on social protection. We put in a lot of money for social protection. We've also looked at the fact that we've ramped up in terms of our housing, in terms of our health as well. A lot more, we're concentrating, pushing on the Massey Street Hospital, which is being built. So a lot of these things come out from our discussions when we have the consultative forums, when we go across all the divisions of the state.
But specifically, there will be some achievements that have been made too with all of this forum and all of that. Can we highlight some of them?
Yes, we can. So for instance, you know, in each area of the state, all the requirements are different. So what you'd require in Ikorodu is not what the citizens of Ekpe maybe want. So, you know, so what these forums do for us is to ensure and let us know. I mean, you'd be surprised that something as small as maybe putting a sports development complex in some areas, it goes a long way, you know. So once we know that the heavy infrastructure projects are very key, the roads and the schools and the hospitals, it also, what this forum does for us is it enables us to get in touch with the citizens. We hear from them, and the little things that you know we can quickly get and achieve and put in place, we put into the budget, and we can then manage it and ensure that we can. So, I mean, across the states, you know, we've been able to sort of, as I said, the softer things, the health centers, the sports stadiums, the youth complexes, you know, and it cuts across all the CDCs, all the local governments, and then all the groups. So the youth groups come in. Mr. Governor recently just announced his intention to sort of build a youth NYC camp. You know, so again, those are things that, you know,
5 billion or something.
Exactly. So those are things that, you know, that come across, and when you add it to our Themes Plus agenda, you know, the plus saying that, you know, no one is left behind. You know, so what that does for us is these forums enables us to go out, speak to people, and let them know that they are part of the budget process. And it's not just that we sit in the office, cook up some numbers, and then decide to sort of, no, it is their budget.
How receptive are Lagosians to this process? How have they been to this process?
You know, it's a good one. Lagosians are very receptive. And, you know, Lagosians are also very, very, I mean, we're very dynamic and smart people. So they hold you, take you up on what you've said. So the previous year we came there, we said we're going to do X, Y, Z. Yeah. So when we get there this year, the first thing is, oh, last year, this is what we said. Where have we reached? What have we done? So we go through that. Then we say, going forward for the next year, this is what we're looking at. So they're very, very receptive. And throughout the whole year, they follow through. So they come to you throughout the whole year. They ask you programs that, you know, they've talked about, that, you know, they've seen. They want to know how things are going. And if there are things that are hampering us and we cannot sort of get going, then that's a good time to sort of say, look, you know, we can't do this now because of this or that. And then we go back and discuss it. So it's a process that, you know, it's two-way. You know, it's very consultative, and we both have inputs into it.
Feedbacks and all of that,
Exactly.
and you work with all of this to be, because I'm looking at the size of the 2024 budget again, the budget of renewal, right?
Correct.
That's what
exactly.
it is.
Yes.
2.267,
Yes.
58% capital and 42% recurrent.
Yes.
How well are we doing with implementing?
We're doing well. We just recently had, we're going through our media review. So we have quarterly reviews as well. In-house, as the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, we obviously look at things month on month and keep going on things. But so far, we're doing well. I mean, in terms of our revenues, we're fine. We're hitting our revenues. In terms of our projects as well, you know. And the good thing about our budget is obviously it's skewed more towards capital expenditure, which shows you that, you know, we are trying to ensure that we can complete projects and reduce the cost of governance, which is in the recurrent, to ensure that keeps coming down. So I think overall, as a state, we've done well. There's always room for improvement. We're always hoping that we can always ramp up our revenues. Our IGR is good, but also other sources of revenues are things that we're keen to sort of look into and ensure we can maximize.
So let's talk about the coming consultative forum. Tell us more about it, and specifically what you want Lagosians to even know about this.
Okay, first of all, we want to let Lagosians know that it is their process. We want them to be involved. So you can go in and register. Whilst we have physical attendance in all the various areas which we'll highlight, you know, you can also log on online and register online and also participate. So you can send an email to budget@lagosstate.gov.ng, where you can indicate an interest, and then we'll then send you the links where you can sort of log on and participate in the process. We're going to start next week, Tuesday, I believe, at Eco Club, which is going to be the Lagos division. Then we'll move on to Agidingbi, which is the Ikeja division, and then we'll move on to Ikorodu, the town hall, and after Ikorodu, we'll go to Ekpe, and then we'll go to Badagry.
Wow.
Yeah.
All these, that's all around. That's around the state.
It's all along the
Well, that's a lot of work. So what more? Let's look at future plans, of course, by the state government. Are you going to continue with this? Are you going to maintain this forum? And what more should Lagosians expect?
No, the forum, we're maintaining the forum. We continuously keep it going. When we're doing our budget process, it's not a yearly. We plan 3 years. It's a 3-year in advance process. So every 3 years, we know what's coming, what's going. So we can then look at how we fared in the past, and we can then judge ourselves and say, look, what we expect in the next 2 years to 3 years. So it's a continuous process. So the budget consultative forum is something that's here to stay, and it's something that we continuously build on. And as I said, it gives us an opportunity to give feedback and also get information back from our citizens.
Almost finally, something very interesting when I was reading up for this chart is infrastructure development, something like the Okwebi-Mende link bridge, and very strategic, and all of that. So
on that, we're close to 85-86% complete on that. You know, so what that does for you is opens up the whole Toyin Street, Allen, Okwebi area. You know, there's also an Ikeja urban regeneration program which is going on as well. At that, we're also close to 80-85%. So there's a lot of work being put into infrastructure. But I also believe that, you know, it's a good balance for us to be able to sort of push on these big infrastructure projects and deliver, but also be able to sort of look at the other side and the softer side. I talked a lot about social protection, and we looked at the fact that with everything going on in the economy, it's very, very important to ensure that, you know, we can cater for our people and look after our people. So this is what things like this consultative forum does for us. We hear back. Last year we heard back, and we knew that social protection was going to be a key issue for us, which is why in the 2024 budget we looked at it and we ensured that that was actually taken care of. So you look at programs like the Onje Eco, the food bank, which was highly successful. And so people could. So those are the sort of things, you know. So all these things all come out from listening to the citizens and then going back and implementing it. Also, Mr. Governor just recently cleared all the pension backlog. So, you know, so that's also something to know that, you know, when we had forums, pensioners said, you know, they hadn't been paid their pension. So now as a state, we're fully up to date. So, you know, those are all the things we get from having these forums and these dialogues.
Like I said earlier, again, what more should Lagos State government expect from the Things Plus agenda?
Always more. I think, you know, one of the things I like to say is that, you know, as a state, you know, we're hampered a bit by our own success in the sense that, you know, we're a state that carry out a lot of what nationals do. You know, so we don't restrict ourselves. So we don't restrict ourselves. So we know we always have to continuously keep going and raising the bar. So there's a lot more to come. We're going to, the blue line is being extended. The red line is also obviously coming on phase. Recently, Mr. Governor recently launched 15 40-seater capacity ferries, you know, and they were all built locally in Lagos. You know, so that what that does for us, obviously, the multiplier effect, the job creation, you know, so there's a lot going on, and we're very, very proud of the work we do.
We'll have you in after the consultative forum to see again, have some assessments of what you've seen and, you know, what we should expect.
I'll be happy to be back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
George is the Lagos
pleasure.
Commissioner for Budget Economic Planning. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right, then. Coming up on the show, we shift our focus to understand the launch of the preferential trade